effort. Since the mid-1960s, our organization has worked to help tens of thousands of individuals and families out of poverty and toward stability, dignity, and opportunity. Our work spans generations from food access, community development, to economic empowerment. But we do not do this work alone. We support, collaborate with, and uplift other nonprofits across the region who share our vision for an equitable Lehigh Valley. One example of the life-changing work happening right here is the James Lawson Freedom School's Reading Literacy Program, hosted here at Resurrected Life Church. This program empowers young people with the confidence, curiosity, and critical thinking tools that they need to thrive. It reflects what can happen with community organizations, corporate partners, and government leaders come together with a shared mission and a shared heart for our youth. Today is about celebrating that partnership and the bright future that it helps to create. So without further ado, I'm honored to introduce our state's Lieutenant Governor, Austin Davis.
Edwards and Resurrected Life Community Church for hosting us today. It's so great to be back here in the great city of Allentown. You know, I want to also thank Community Action of the Lehigh Valley for not just the introduction, but all the great work you're doing in our community. We are so grateful. Organizations that are supporting this project include folks from People's Security Bank and Trust, PNC Bank, Wells Fargo, and a number of other private sector businesses. We're so grateful for all of your work and your investment in these projects. You know, the governor and I are so lucky to have governing partners all across the Commonwealth, and we have no better governing partners than your Lehigh Valley legislative delegation in Senator Miller and Representatives Schweier and Schlossberg. Thank you for your leadership and your partnership in Harrisburg. And we're so fortunate to have strong local leaders here on the ground, from Mayor Matt Turk to your new county executive, Josh Stiegel. I can tell you we lost Josh in Harrisburg as a state representative, but it is the Lehigh County game that he is here now working with you all on the ground. You know, this is my second stop in the Lehigh Valley today, and I'm excited to see that there are so many positive projects moving forward. And that's really a credit to the strong local leadership you have here in the region. We're here in Allentown to highlight a great project that serves more than 200 young people through programs like the Youth Police Academy and the James Lawson Freedom School. You know, I grew up in McKeesport, in an aging steel town in southwestern Pennsylvania, and I spent many of my days growing up at the local Boys and Girls Club. I knew firsthand how important it is for young people to have safe and supportive places to go after school and during those critical summer months. They need places where they can learn and dream, to see that the world is bigger than just their neighborhood and where they come from. That's what the Boys and Girls Club did for me, and that's what programs like the James Lawson Freedom School and the Youth Police Academy do for kids here in the Lehigh Valley. The governor and I are working to make our community safer and giving more kids opportunities to succeed by investing in after-school and summer programs. We've done that first and foremost through our Boost initiative, which was led by Representative Schlossberg, passed it, introduced it out of the House. We're so grateful for his leadership. Last year, we provided more than $11 million in state grants for after-school and summer programs across the Commonwealth. We'll be providing another $11 million in grants this year. And as we prepare for the governor to give his budget address, we're fighting for even more resources as we move into the next budget cycle. We've also been able to support programs like this one through the Neighborhood Assistance Program, which awards tax credits to businesses that support nonprofit organizations that are doing this great work. Several businesses, including Highmark, PNC, People's Security and Wells Fargo will receive a total of more than $600,000 in state tax credits to offset the donations they are making to Community Action Lehigh Valley. I'm grateful for the companies that are supporting this project, as well as Community Action Lehigh Valley, for investing in Pennsylvania's most precious resource, our children. There are 37 approved NAP credits across Lehigh Valley, totaling more than $5.5 million in tax credits. And statewide, there are more than 400 approved projects. This program has been wildly successful. It shows what can happen when private businesses and nonprofits come together in partnership with state government to get things done for the great people here in Pennsylvania. It's so successful and so popular with legislators, quite frankly, on both sides of the aisle, that we were able to double the state's investment from $36 million, $72 million in last year's budget, and then sustain that level of funding in our most recent budget. Even as we are trying to deal with all the chaos coming out of Washington, Governor Shapiro and I are laser focused on delivering real results for hardworking people here in Pennsylvania. It's my pleasure to bring out someone who administers this program and does the nitty-gritty work to make sure these resources are driving out of the Capitol into our communities. Our Deputy Secretary of the Department of Community and Economic Development, Rick Colon. It
really is a pleasure for me to do this. Is one part of the job. It really is good for me to do it where then the government Davis and our relationship talks about it. See if you can, working with challenges, solving problems, making a difference in places like Alabama, all over the Commonwealth, and representing Secretary Siger and Governor Shapiro is really a pleasure because they get it. And the neighbor assistance program is really important, and it's my most flexible program, and it does get across the board, across the aisle support. And one of the things that I wanted to touch base on, executive assistant is now down. So I literally cut and pasted but I thought the point was really, really important. Over 100 projects in the Lehigh Valley, supported by 150 businesses, making a difference. Businesses identifying a problem, making an investment in their project. $5 million, over $5 million this year, over $19 million since 2022. And all of the projects on these pages, she's personally touched. And, even back to when they're just an idea. And whether it's the food banks or it's training or it's all of the different projects, FIA, and we were talking at the beginning, is a lead instigator when it comes to making sure these projects get across the goal line. And Kelsey DeMorales is in the back. She's my director of this program. We couldn't do this work without amazing team. And we have an amazing team getting amazing stuff done all across the Commonwealth. So it's great to be in Alabama. It's always good being a former mayor. So it's really a pleasure for me to be here. And I'll turn it over to Senator Miller.
Good morning, Secretary. Thank you very much. I really do want to emphasize the impact that this has on the community, and want to thank Pastor Edwards for your commitment to our community, not just here, but your child care facility that we're working on over at 9th and Turner, Bonnie and Holland, for your efforts here in the Lehigh Valley. I was a co-prime sponsor on the legislation to expand this program from 36 to $72 million and to increase the tax credit percentage up to 96% if those companies committed to 6 years. Now, that investment and that relationship and partnership between those companies, the private sector and our communities, it goes a long way for a couple of reasons. One, that they are engaged in their community, they're seeing the challenges, and they're working closely with the nonprofits that actually move the needle on addressing those challenges. And to be able to see that list of companies, private companies here in the Lehigh Valley, they don't have an excuse why they're not helping out. And you see just the list of companies stepping up to make a difference in our community. So to have partners across the board, and this is bipartisan legislation that we introduced with Senator Yaw, and it's common sense, investing in our communities, incentivizing the business community to really make a difference in our neighborhoods across Pennsylvania. So with that, I will turn it over to Representative Schlossberg, who's been a phenomenal partner in these efforts as well. Thank you very much. Senator Governor, on behalf of myself as well as Representative Schwartz, Chair of the Thank you all very much for being here. Two brief points because I think we might be halfway through the speakers list. First, one of the things that has always struck me repeatedly when I'm in Harrisburg, and I mean this from out of my heart, I've had this conversation with many of you privately as well as publicly, is how really lucky we are in the Lehigh Valley. And I think it's something that we too often take for granted. When Pete, myself, and Josh, and Nick used to tell people about the community programs that we had going, the way that the business community was deeply engaged in what was happening here, the fact that the greatest struggle that nonprofits was too many of them trying to do too much good work. We're genuinely blessed. And I say that in this respect from a couple of different perspectives. First, I am a unabashedly progressive Democrat, but I really want to take a moment to praise our corporate partners right now, because they have done phenomenal work in making sure that they're invested in the community and that we can take care of all of our kids and give them the long-term opportunities that they deserve. That list of NPP partners was a veritable group of the Lehigh Valley business community, and they are investing in our kids. And they are investing in what happens here and what happens in the good work that Pastor Edwards and many other partners have done. And we're so grateful for them. But second, and maybe a little bit more importantly from a governmental perspective, none of this happens in isolation. I'm grateful that the Lieutenant Governor was kind enough to mention the Boost program, which is investing tens of millions of dollars into after-school programs that make sure that kids get educational opportunities, structured social engagement, and the chance to succeed while their parents work to take care of them and their futures. But that isn't even close to the only program that we have that makes sure that our kids get the best future possible. We have invested record dollars in education in both pre-K and in K-12 education, especially right here in the Allentown School District. I'm proud of the work that I've done. Chairman Schweier, and I know Representative Miller, or Senator Miller, sorry, Nick, we're deeply involved in the Basic Education Funding Commission that has put tens of millions of dollars every year into the Allentown School District to make sure that our kids in Allentown get the same world-class, high-quality education that everybody else in the Lehigh Valley does. Between Boost, between the NAP program, and so much more, we are putting every one of our kids, let me say that again, every one of our kids in a position where they can have a good and successful life. And that is the essence of public service, community involvement. So thank you to all of you up here today, in the audience, listening at home. We're doing so much good work, and I can't wait to do more of it. And speaking of good work, it's my pleasure to introduce him a little bit better, but my former colleague, Lehigh County Executive Josh.
Time and time again, and as I've often said, I think the strength of the Lehigh Valley, the power of the Lehigh Valley has always been that we are a place about partnerships and not partisanship. We come together regardless of our ideology or our political backgrounds to move the Lehigh Valley forward. We stand here not too far from the neighborhood zone, the power of partnership. We have built Allentown from the ground up. This project is an example of what happens when government does its part. The business community adds its weight to the cause. I'm sure you're well aware that We would like to expand, but obviously we've had to work over the years in the legislature. We haven't had success, but we made that $11.5 million commitment. And what's great about it is that it allows us to partnerships look like different things. We do our part in the legislature under Governor Shapiro and Governor Davis, fully fund our schools, make sure our kids get a quality education. We make sure that every child in the Commonwealth gets universal school breakfast. We put a good meal in our kids' bellies every morning so that they can focus on their education. That's us doing our part to be partners. But let's be candid, including our businesses, our incredible partners here in Lehigh Valley. What I love about this event, Reverend Edwards Church and his Freedom Law School, is that this is about the power of prevention. Because I think in the Commonwealth, what we understand, and what the governor understand, he's brought with him since his time in Allegheny County, is the power of these investments to prevent our children from going down the wrong path, from potentially making the wrong choice. And I believe, and I know we all do, that public safety and keeping our community safe is that fast. It's more than just police. We put that that investment in our kids, because I think the most important thing we can do is our business community and the Commonwealth. It costs far more to punish our children than it does to invest in them. That's what this project is about. They don't just slay the shadow of legislation development, they benefit from it. We're fortunate to have corporate partners in the Lehigh Valley who realize that building their business also needs to be. That can only happen because of the stable, sensible, common sense leadership that Governor Shapiro and Senator Davis engage in every day, and because of the partnership with local and state government. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Governor Parnell.
Yes. Morning, everybody. Bienvenidos. Welcome to I want to thank Pastor Edwards. Nice to be here with you guys. I think I heard it though because I've been here for the James Austin Freedom School. I'm happy to see DLA back there. I'm tempted to just burst into our Humassic song. Something inside so strong, I know I could make it, right? This is like our, exactly. If you have it cool to read to the young people who are joined with the morning kickoff of the James Austin Freedom School, I encourage you to do so because it's going to happen again in 2026, right? So we'll make sure that everybody gets that on their agenda. I'm so grateful to be joined by some partners up here today. I want to recognize City Council Vice President Cynthia Volta. Student President and Driving the Well. And newest school board member, Dr. Street Johnson. Everybody up here has talked about partnership. I stated a city address a couple of days ago. I talked about how important it was for all of us together to do sport and succeed in a city like Allentown if we're not all coming together. And all of us together is what this is about, what the neighborhood look like. This is our corporate partners showing up for our city through contributions to organizations that show up for our city, supported by our state government who's showing up for our city. And we here in the city are pulling it all together. We show up. Mark, what do we do? That's what we show up. That's what we do in Allentown is we show up. Right? We saw phenomenal people show up here today. We're showing up every day as government, as business, as organizations, but also as residents, right? All of this works when we're all in it together. So I'm grateful to have so many great partners in this work. I'm especially grateful for the residents of Allentown to continue to show up for their community. So thank you again for showing up for our city. It is a huge honor to be standing up here with all of you. Many 40 years of Allentown. So thank you, muchas gracias. I'm going to welcome now legend
in the city of Metro State. So then everyone try to call a friend, this event.
Thank you. I want to thank the action. Downtown Florida Youth Partnership Program is now in its 6th year of operation. In the year one of our high school students from our entrepreneurship program proposed the branding of the neighborhood partnership, the effort that we were undertaking with the acronym TOR. And she felt that that should stand for a community of resident engagement, which is one of the cornerstones of this very dynamic program of economic development. Downtown's core neighborhood partnership effort focuses on delivering engrossing, I want to repeat that, engrossing youth activities, initiatives, and programming centered in these key areas: arts, health, education, education, and civic engagement. Governance and oversight process for the 6-year span is embodied in the Allentown's core steering committee, which combines the collective resources from both community partners, the funders, and the residents. As we stand here today and Resurrected Life Church, and thanks again for Pastor Edwards for hosting us, recognize the partnership with the Resurrected Community Development Corp, which conducts the James Lawson Freedom School for its reading literacy initiative, and which counters the summer slide, which was mentioned by Dawn as well, primarily for elementary and middle school students, but also to impede their cultural and emotional development and growth, of which they are sometimes the person. In all areas, community partners have been instrumental in on the front line of program delivery in the areas of entrepreneurship, workforce development, personal skills education and training, along with anti-violence work, after-school activities and initiatives focusing on art, dance, poetry, theater, and podcasting. Downtown's core NPP's key focus and mission is to work with youth from ages 4 to 24. And to this end, we conducted our Generation Next College Readiness Program, which focuses on preparing and equipping potential first-generation college students to be ready to apply, enter, and most importantly, to be successful in their college experience. This NPP effort included in-class instruction at the high school level, college application support, and specifically designed training to help them do well on the testing, along with numerous college tours to universities along the East Coast. Two of our flagship efforts that engage hundreds of youth over this tenure of the NPP for these 6 years include the 8-week summer camp conducted in collaboration with the Fine Feather Foundation, Ripple Church, and most recently, the Allentown Boys and Girls Club. Secondly, the 6-week Youth Academy Summer Camp, which is a program also part of the PAL program. I saw some of the members from PAL here earlier. This program is designed to create civic engagement experiences primarily for middle school students. This particular effort has provided both mental and physical development for its youth participants. Both summer programs included numerous field trips to places such as the Cradle Experience, the Da Vinci Science Center, Camp Flower, Jordan Park, and I realized that most of those are within the Lehigh Valley. However, most of our youth from the inner city don't actually get the opportunity to experience things. So it's important for us to take them on these trips. And then further, we've gone to the Philadelphia Zoo and Crystal Cave, stuff like this now. This is just to mention a few, but the idea is that these destination trips expand the horizons of our youth and build on their life experience. The Allentown's for NPP has involved hundreds of youth and impacted thousands of residents through the community events that we've hosted, along with the murals that we've done as well. Many of them are within walking distance from here as part of the downtown. And the mural will be a lasting tribute to this Allentown Score Neighborhood Partnership Program.
It's my pleasure now to introduce a young lady who has been a part of the PAL program and experienced participating in the summer camp as well. Her name is Anaya Rivera, and she's an eighth grader.
Good morning, Pennsylvania. My name is Anaya Rivera, and I'm 14 years old. It is truly an honor to be here today to share my experience as a mentor with the Allenstown Youth Athletic, which runs Summer Youth Academy. The PAL program is not just a regular summer camp that keeps children busy through the summer. It is so much more than this. The PAL program helps shape children into leaders within their community and prepares them to become outstanding individuals. For me, this program has been a cornerstone in my development. For reasons like providing me with life-changing opportunities and essential leadership. Being a PAL Big Coach is for work. Not in the best way possible. Mentors and cadets collaborate on a wide range of community events and volunteer time. For example, we recently volunteered at Lights in the Parkway for hosting an entertainment and joyful holiday season for our entire team. We also help raise funds, organize Thanksgiving for seniors, and organize winter clothing for families. Most importantly, we show up for the Allenstown community. Being a part of PAL has allowed me to meet so many incredible people and build relationships that I know will last a lifetime. However, this is only possible through the guidance, support, and dedication of the amazing police officers staff who serve as positive role models. Officers such as Lieutenant Leonard, Officer Newsom, we respect them, we want to make them proud, they genuinely want us to. For example, Lieutenant Leonard has had many conversations about my future and my potential career goals. Most importantly, they care about every single one of us. Through these experiences, I have learned that it's never too early to care about your city and make positive differences. I will forever be grateful for the PAL program because it's made such a positive impact on my life. I truly look forward to each summer every year so I can connect with my friends and the officers who have become such a good. Lastly, I want to encourage all elected officials to invest in youth programs like PAL, as they are beneficial to our youth and our community.
Looking this way or if I didn't know who your parents were, I can tell just by
Chairman of the House Education Committee. We're going to actually get to the point of the
And so whether he's coaching at Allen, you officers are not as the time. I think that's really indicative of our values that we have to data. If we all know each other, we all like each other.
And we all like each other. I want to make people say, it doesn't take out of church, because that kind of spirit we have here, and I like, that's the kind of, and I hope that it makes it, we have much growth. We'll always feel there's some showing up for now, and yeah, that. We're here to, and, you know, my country. All right.
Thank you all for being here. I have a question.